You know. Okay. Here we are.
Oh, this one feels cool.
It's been broke in. Yeah, it's been broke. Dang, you're in my way, man. You're in my way. I gotta zoom out. Hello. Hello. Okay, let's go ahead and divide our. We've got our board oiled out. That's 2.5. By 5. I always like these to be my lines to be clean as possible. It frankly doesn't matter. They could be all thick and nasty. It would work just the same. It's just good for us to get our bearings. So there was, you ever hear that band Kiss?
Yep.
Okay, well the guy who runs Kiss, he doesn't run it, but he acts like he does. That's Gene Simmons. He tried to trademark this.
Okay.
No. That's because that's the rock and roll sign or whatever. Here's the ruler.
Thank you.
Oh, but yeah, go ahead. We're gonna do the horizon thing here too. And I'm gonna pop. You remember the last time we moved the horizon around a little bit, but I think that's actually a pretty decent spot where it is now. Because when I did that one, there was very little of it in the reference. So then it's fine to fudge those kind of things as you're working. You know, I'll move a horizon line or something, and then you know, as far as the grid goes, it won't conform. But yeah, who cares? Now, so like these little skinny black mountains, we probably won't paint that black. I don't know what you're thinking, but I sure won't. And remember I was talking about the wide angle thing?
Yeah.
Right? So these shapes, if you were standing there perceiving this scene,
yeah,
you would see those as much larger than the camera's making them.
Yeah.
So always keep that kind of thing in mind. Distant mountains, distant hills, the wide angle makes everything look like super far away. I've told you about that before too, like how my brother-in-law thought my painting of a pond was a painting of an ocean scene.
Yeah. Nice.
Because this was early days for me, and that's one of the things got me thinking about. It's like, well, no, it's a pond, but he perceived it as because it would have been looked like it was way more distant the hills than they actually were.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Nice. You can jump in to start drawing. Doesn't matter really where you start. I think it's very interesting to think about though sometimes, like why did you start there, you know? But I don't know where I'm going to start. I probably will. One thing I do want to show you. Oh, no, that's what I want to show you. Yeah, that's what I want to show you. Yeah, so this thing being wider in the middle, you know, that's not so great. It'd be better if it was like, this needs to be way bigger. Maybe, but if we're gonna do it, I would get a bit coming in from each side, and then if you want to do something there, you can. I would almost have this as a ridge in front, and probably do something like that. You know what I mean? Instead, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just a little skinny thing with that being a lump in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would warn you, don't do it. Yeah, it's interesting though. We thought to both start with the hills. Why don't we just merge
just
that?
want a bit of grounding.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna work off of that. We're gonna pivot off of that. Yeah. Yeah, those little spiky trees or whatever.
Yeah.
I never do. Maybe if I was working really big, I would do that kind of thing. But I would caution you not to. So if you're painting some reference that has like hills and they've got little tiny trees on them and stuff, unless you've got some room to really do it justice,
Yeah.
just ignore them and just paint the hills. That's my opinion. Now someone else might have a different opinion and still make a good painting. So it's good. It's really good to like always think about like you're kind of a guide with a painting. You know, it's not like I overtly think, oh, I'm going to make their eye go here, and I'm going to make their eye go there, and then I'm going to make their eye go there. But I do realize like when you have clumpy bits or little things or things you really put a lot of attention to, that's going to be a focus. And if it's a little thing that's in the back of some distant mountain that you spend a lot of time, oh, I'm going to get that little tiny tree just
I just
right.
read that in your book last night.
Oh yeah, did I put that in there?
Yeah, I was reading about how the foreground shouldn't be too intensely detailed because it's just the pathway into.
That's right. That's an Ines thing, actually. He was like, so the school of that was very popular before Ines was the Hudson River guys, and they would have super detailed weeds in the foreground, and then detailed other thing in the background, and then detail everywhere. And those paintings are actually really big, so they're quite immersive, just like the landscape would be.
Yeah.
And it sort of works, but no weeds. Actually, sometime I should pull up some of my oldest paintings.
What's the biggest painting you've done?
Something like that there, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't worked super big. Oh no, the one over here in the frame, actually.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is quite.
Yeah, no, they hang out, and I haven't. Okay, so let's talk about these clouds here. So remember I said this one, this?
Mm-hmm.
Or to you guys there, if you're watching, if I'm including this part in the video, there'll be like a little bit of cloud above this area, right? That I don't like because I feel like it creates a wedge here and then a wedge there. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of come in like this. Like I've got a bit of this, I got a bit of this, but I'm leaving that open. I don't want that closed up. Yeah. What I really do love is this bit here, you know?
Yeah.
I love that, only without the weird artifacts from my liquefy moves. I won't paint those. You might want to paint some weird swirls or something, but I'm gonna be a little bit more. There's my oil. Also, just a tip, you know, using the brush like this.
Mm-hmm. What did you just say when you looked at it?
Huh? Well, I'm just doing this kind of thing. So this is just that mass drawing sort of a thing instead of like getting all drawy like you would with a pencil or a pen.
Yeah.
It's for landscape, it's very valuable. It's also quite valuable for figures as well, because it kind of gets you where you want to be a little quicker and a little looser. Get rid of that. And, you know, so that's the thing I always think about. It's like I was you see my illustrations, you know, because some of them were super tight. And I was really into that, really tight things. It took me a while to learn how to, because that tightness in landscape painting, to me looks bad, just bad. So this mass here that bothered me, this wedge, I'm making the bottom of it straight. I do like that light bright bit above it though. I think that's cool. And that's the best use of reference. Like take the good things, have a sense. Like, how do I know that that's a bad plan? Because I've sat there and painted these things, you know. And then as I'm coming and going to work, or I have paintings up in the wall of my house, I'll walk by and one day I'll look at that and say, that doesn't look right. And that's the same thing too with this super wide panoramic activity. You just, after a while, you go, no, that doesn't look good. And then you'll know in your next painting, don't do it.
Yeah. Could I use a cotton bud?
Yes. That'll be 50 cents.
Thank you.
That's how we make money in our painting class, Ash.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a comment? But yes, we do. 50 cents. 50 cents.
I was actually thinking yesterday I'm just going to have a pocket full of cotton buds. Just.
Yeah. Alright, so this is a bit of a challenge. I'm going to get rid of the grid soon. Is the grid helping you?
I haven't really used it.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
that can be a hindrance. That's the thing with keep in mind with the grid. It can be a hindrance, you know. It's kind of good in initial, though, especially if like you're feeling a little lost, you know.
It's helping me keep the bottom of the clouds straight in relation.
Oh, you're doing good. That's great.
So,
So that's what these long handles are for.
Yeah.
So you pull back on the handle, and just I kind of hold things like this. But you're doing good. I mean, those are pretty straight. They don't need to be razors. They don't need to be, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want them looking mechanical. That's for sure. Yeah. We don't want them looking mechanical. Okay, and this light. So this is something I would design. Like I pay some attention to that white mass, how it looks there. But I'm looking at the negative of the sky with the positive of the cloud. And thinking about things, actually, the sky is actually darker here, right? Yeah. That's kind of a bit of a photographic trick, too, when the sky goes very dark. That's a processing trick. Did they cover any of that in your class? Or
no.
They didn't give you much of anything in
No.
use in that class.
I didn't watch any more than one lecture, and I got a really good grade.
Yeah.
Just did it.
That's because you've got the artistic eye. So, like, someone who's a painter could always do some decent photography, I think. All right, so have a little look. Like, don't get too hung up on things yet.
Okay.
You know, your clouds are looking a little stiff. A little stiff.
It's
Like,
really.
this is one of the reasons I might take that brush away and just give you a paper towel.
Mm.
Well, no, it's nice. You're doing your painting, but I'm going to give you some guidance and stuff. So, what you do want to do is maybe get rid of the grid and navigate how you're going to compose with these shapes, so that people can get in and out and around your clouds.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking good. I mean, you hear what I'm saying? Yeah.
Could be like clouds pointing down into one point, and then have like a small human in the horizon.
You can do it. You can do it. No, you're most welcome to do anything. That's the beauty part of this. Yeah. You're very welcome to do something creative. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, like I was telling you with the old manta ray thing, you know, that painting sold because there was a manta ray in the sky, you know, or there's something interesting going on other than just the. So you can kind of see my approach here, where it's looser.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting that air in there, because if you get, and also you've got like 1, 2, 3s going on here.
True.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So this is another way to get away from that too.
Okay.
We're not, neither one of us are using the grid right now, so I'm gonna get rid of the grid. I'm gonna get rid of the grid because I want to be free. I want to be free. So there's a lot of drama in this sky. Now sometimes too, one thing I'll do is like, it might seem counterintuitive, but I'm going to make this a little smaller.
Oh yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. And I'm going to take my glasses off. Because I want to get navigating some big picture stuff here.
Are you leaving a gap? Oh yeah.
I'm leaving lots of gaps. Like, gaps is my thing. Yeah. When I'm looking at values, I'm looking at I got a cool that for that painting there, the golden one.
Mm-hmm.
I got a cool video to put up with some power glazing. That's going to go up members only.
Okay.
Yeah, members only, because that image always bothered me, and it turned out I did it almost exactly a year ago. It bothered me because it was a little half-hearted.
Yeah. Is it better?
Not bad. Try some of this. Try holding like that. Try painting like this and doing this kind of thing. Fill some things in.
Yeah.
And you can start with light, a light tone, and then push it a little darker, and so on and so forth. This is something I only discovered maybe the last year or so, working this way. And I think it's very powerful. And also, it's like I'm using this little brush, but I'm getting pretty nice wide strokes. I have some control, but it's also, kind of allowing me to manipulate the tones. That's nice. I'm not going to get crazy about delineating all the lightest areas or any of that. I'm just looking for some movement. But because I filled all this in, I can kind of go, okay, I'm going to have a little more dark here. This is like being painterly too, because this is where paint rules over drawing, is that you could just go in and you just fill the whole area with value.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. I'm almost done, I'd say, with my drawing. Yeah, this whole sky comes together way better without that one cloud hitting that one mountain in the back. Like that. Only a little tweaky here, where I think you chose not to do that mountain in the back at all, or hill, but I'm going to play with the value where I do a bit of a gradation. It may be not a good plan. is nice. It's exciting. Okay. Right.
I regret trying to colour in the blue of the sky with the underpainting.
You can go darker. See what I did? Darker.
Okay.
Darker.
Because there's like cloud.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do I do?
But look what I did. Look what I did. I merged it. So it's like that's water vapor. That's how you don't have to have all your clouds edges defined or not.
Yeah.
Well, I think you push that a bit darker since you really like.
I was just about to get rid of it. Yeah. I wiped it all off.
Yeah, just go dark there, and then they do gradation down because that'll just remind you. Oh, I really like that, and it'd be easier to paint that dark blue over the top too.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not so keen on doing it over here. Well, maybe a little over there too. Why not? Yeah. It's just a reminder. So much of what I do at this stage is kind of reminders for things. Like I'm breaking up. I'm just helping myself. Like clouds are ephemeral. You know, they're hard. They're not that well defined. So this is kind of just giving me a leg up in a way to try things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little darker there too, because I love that drama at the top, and we worked hard to keep it. That's nice. Okay. I don't even know what's being reflected in that water. It's odd, isn't it? Like that orange.
Yeah,
where's it
like
coming
he's
from?
edited it heaps.
Oh yeah.
And just has kind of forgot about maybe the water.
Hopefully you won't go. Please do. Don't go after me. I'm just teaching. I'm just a teacher. And you didn't invent the sunrise. I mean, you stood there with your camera. Okay. All right. I like to think about this all the time. You know, there's never been any pattern of clouds duplicated ever in the history of the earth, right?
Mm.
There's never been the exact same pattern or formation of clouds. Nope, impossible.
Impossible?
I think, yes. It's just way too random. And now there's things in
entropy, there's patterns, so it could be possible.
It's possible, just like if you put 100 monkeys in a room with 100 typewriters, that they eventually will type the complete works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But what are the odds?
The odds.
The odds are... Yes, but you're right. Technically you're right. But, I mean, what are the odds? The odds aren't good. They're not looking good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even... Well, like we were talking about people the other day, like, you know, with the astrological thing, like, they definitely could... When we've known people that are kind of like other people, but really when you think about it, no two people are at all alike.
Yeah.
You know, even remotely alike.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like to party. Oh, I like to party. Okay. But are you the same as me? No, we just both like to party. I'm gonna get a little bit more jiggy here. So having so before you get too crazy, get your tones in the bottom, and that because the one thing I've noticed as I'm trolling on down lane is when I get all the values in, then I'm adjusting. Like I'm making this a little darker now because I can kind of visualize the whole thing.
Right.
You know. So that's looking cool though. I'm liking what you're doing. That's looking awesome. Yeah.
I feel like I'm floating around in a big ocean without a life jacket on. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're floating. Yeah. This is definitely a pretty advanced type of thing to paint. Yeah. But you know, it's attitude. Attitude's everything. You just have an attitude like it's good to think about what it is you love about this scene. You know, what it is you're responding to. And hone in on that, you know, because that's color, that's a feel of the shifting of the values, right? But it's not little bits like how the light's hitting this or that ridge, you know, it's really more, in some cases, like it's staying out of your way with the brush stroke. That's why I'm holding the brush like this, you know? That's why I'm doing this kind of thing. That's why I'm not getting all like, I must draw this shape exactly like this or that, you know?
Yeah.
The one thing I do like to do, by the way, when I'm doing this kind of thing, I'll put some of this in the oil.
Yeah.
Like we got some of those little lighter clouds there. I don't have to do this, but I took a little dot off so I have a little more control.
Yeah.
But I will just kind of go like this and wait for that oil to kind of eat through the paint.
Yeah.
Oh, that's powerful. It's very powerful. Even up here. Whereas if you had just tried to do it with the swab alone, it'll just smear. But like if you're letting that oil bite through like that, then you can come in with a clean swab, by the way. Oh, here's a swab. 50 cents. We don't even have 50 cents here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Oh, we do, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we do. Okay. And then you can kind of work a little with it, you know, so it's not too fake looking. But that's a fun thing to do. And that works, of course, with the color as well. So if you have an area of massive amounts of color, you're struggling, you can just go in with that oil and just bite right through everything. And imagine the same thing, it can work with the spirits as well. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. We didn't even have to break out the stressful paper towel, although I'm going to bring out a little bit here. What I like about the paper towel, like, see, you can't really paint strokes like that. You know what I mean? It just, I'm gonna do a little with it. Just some of these areas that kind of bother me. Oh, that's super thick, but. And so, like, see, I don't really love that now. It was like too thick, too whatever.
Okay.
But, so sometimes, like, things don't work out, but it's all part of the process, you know?
Alright.
So, like, one thing I like to do is crumple up a clean paper towel, go right into my oil. And yeah, I'm just going to do a few little plops there. Just wait to see what happens, you know? That can break things up. Like, you have some edges. Not so much smear, more pap, you know? Let me give you a little more oil too. Like, and they'll be a little more strategic with it, like a little more feely. Okay?
I'm like, just make it.
You're like, curr. I'll pummel you into condition. You will conform. No, more like this. See, watch here. Okay, think. You know what I mean? Oh, yes, that's it. Come to me. And then, give it a second. You'll see what's happening. And then you could let it go quite a ways. Like, look how it's opening things up here. Like, that's a neat effect. I love that effect. You know, in fact, if I was just going to do a monotype or something, I'll let it bite through a bit, and then getting a clean bit of paper towel, I might just stop its whole process. But I like that how it's opened some things up. It's given me some organic, oh, that's nice. Yeah, you're a little timid with it. You're a little timid. Well, this is that kind of looser, abstract approach to painting. So don't worry too much. But it might be good. Like, one thing your painting could benefit from would be a few more, like, maybe push it straight or something there, or, you know, or. Anyway, keep going. You're okay. Get rid of your grid. Be my
It
recommendation.
feels like it's very sparse, like it's too stamped on. Whereas yours is more like integrated everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But what I would recommend you do now.
Yeah.
It's looking good though. I like what you're doing.
Okay.
I think it's cool.
All right. Okay.
So you're not lost.
Okay.
One thing you can do is pull some of these bits where you pap things. You can pull it out with a paper towel a little.
All right. So are we trying to get some like?
Well, I get rid of this grid because the grid's giving you problems right now. It's fighting you. So here, now use this. There you go. That'd be great.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Just get rid of the grid. You're going to see things are going to really look better for you when you do that. So I thought you got rid of your grid a little while back. I wasn't paying much attention, but yeah, that's good for now. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm going to throw some blue in. Now, I was mentioning that blue is kind of dirty. but very easy to revivid. Oh yeah, we're gonna put this here for both of us. So I'm trying to remember. You gotta. Oh, wait a minute. I take your palette. I will need to take it just so I can show the piece. You know, and okay, so that's not too bad, but there's a lot like bluey bluerness in the. So there's many times where I'll say, yeah, okay, I want. Oh, it's so dirty, so dirty. That's because I want phthalo. I don't have phthalo, but I don't care. I force myself sometimes to use ultramarine.
Wait, are you out of phthalo?
I thought I was squeezing out phthalo, but
Yeah.
I squeezed out. Because ultramarine, it's good. It's good.
You could grab some.
Phthalo would be better. I want to be equal opportunity, Ash. Okay. I don't want to be prejudiced against. That's what my tube of phthalo looks like.
It's clearly good.
Clearly a cheap tube. Phthalo would be better because phthalo is more pure. Ultramarine. So ultramarine is like one of the first synthetic pigments. Did you know that?
I think I did.
And that's valuable because people would have to charge. Oh, that's nice. Don't you think it's nice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. Now up there in that corner, you see, I really like how that gray cloud comes in. It merges.
Right.
Right. So that's like the same value. So I'll be doing that more with a gray. It's quite a dark blue, hey?
Yeah.
It's dark. Okay, so let's just start working in this other blue. I won't go too far with it. And then, so remember I was talking to you about the bands and things, Scott? A lot of times, like, to get a good blend, you do this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But avoid the just straight.
Yeah.
Think and be thinking atmosphere. Also, like, I might go all the way over that dark blue too. You know, doesn't need to be quite that dark. It's you like you around dark blue, but not too much. Yeah, I like that. And I like how in the reference it goes lighter and pure as it moves into the center. I like that. So I might even wipe off my brush and go a little bit purer because I've got a lot of dirtiness in the colors I mix. So there'd be lots of times where I might, oh Jerry, that wasn't me,
Yeah,
Ash.
Jerry,
That wasn't me.
like,
It wasn't me, Ash. It wasn't me, Ash.
That stinks.
Oh Jerry, oh Jerry. Jerry, you're messing up the video, bud. Anyway, so I want more purity there. So I will mix a blue that I know is pure because it's just white and blue. Okay? That's what I want to do in the middle. I want more purity. Oh, that's nice. I really like that. Yeah, Jerry, you're not so fun. You're not so fun. Oh, it's a pretty blue. That's that phthalo. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
It's great too. It's like how beautiful it is, but it's cheap. You're beautiful. You're cheap. I like that. I ended up with the tube of ultramarine because I did I was doing that. I don't know if you've seen on the channel the pigment demos. Those are good to watch, by the way. You learn something about each color.
Okay.
It's just really neat. Like I gave you one, the permanent green light one.
Yeah.
I was looking up the history. I learned a lot about each pigment. You know, I think these things are neat because colors are neat, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the history of them is neat. Phthalo, that's a hard word to spell. Do you know how to spell it?
Yeah.
Of course you do. I still forget. But it's Phthalo, right?
Phthalo, PT.
No, there's a PHTH. I'm telling you, you think you know this. No, it's not spelled the way that you. It's not spelled. That won't help you. Won't help you, because it's like based on some chemical name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Phthalo. But yeah, no, it's. I finally remembered it. I memorized it. It's PHTH. Okay, that's like some more of this. So we got kind of a spread from dark and flat into bright and chromatic, and we're progressing on down. And it's good to get this good color in first because it's behind everything else. And in some cases, like where I'm painting right now, I probably will paint much brighter over the top, but there's gonna be times I want like there'll be little ghosty bits. That's nice. Yeah, and you see how smooth that gradation is in the reference, but look how interesting something like that is, right?
Mm.
You know, it doesn't. Just because it's smooth in the reference doesn't mean it needs to be smooth in the painting. And even more so, I think it's always been a thing. Like with the the painters that were very popular in the most old of times, there was a thing about like disguising your brush marks and trying to get reality, and then cameras came along, you know.
Yep.
And with the cameras, like impressionism and the tonalism and stuff. The tonalism is really about the brush fracture, seeing the brush marks, you know. But prior to that, like you might not even have your work exhibited. They just think, oh, that's just a sketch, you know. That we don't want to see his brush marks. How unprofessional that is, you know. But now we want to see the brush marks. You want to see them. We want it very, very clear and obvious to people that this is not a photo. I like that. Do you ever do that, Ash? When you paint, you go, I like that.
Yep. And that makes a nice colour.
That's nice. I do. I like that blue. The blue's
Mine's
great.
more like a yes.
Okay. So I'm done with my blue. I'm not going to try and bring any in down there. That's going to be other things. Done with my blue. Going to wipe my brush. And I'm going to pivot from blue to...
Can I yank some of this onto my palette?
Yes, you may.
Cool. Are you done with it?
Grab whatever you want.
Okay.
You take what you want. Yeah. You need that dark blue too, or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna yank some of that.
Yeah,
Messing up the
take it
palette.
because I'm done. No, you're fine.
Cool, thank you.
Good. Yeah. So I'm going to pivot from blue into gray, and instead of cleaning my brush, I'm going to grab a little bit of the cat orange, some of my favorite tricks, and mix the orange in with the blue to get a complementary gray in my brush. You see, it makes this really indiscriminate color, but there's lots of this in that painting as well. But from here, I can just grab the gray, so I don't have to clean my brush or worry about any of that. Oh, I like that. That's good. You know, the reference says darkest grays are very dark. That again is photography for you. I'm not going to go that dark. In fact, even this will probably end up being too dark. I'm going to modulate. Actually, this would be slightly different. That's a little darker too. Let's put some of that in there. Modulate. Going to modulate with the burnt sienna. Now, burnt sienna, I think I was talking a lot in the storm cloud video about don't use burnt sienna, but because this is a sunset, burnt sienna is going to be a great color to use because it's not going to smack you in the face like the cad red would. Although you could, like you'll see in this limited palette demo we're going to do next week, cad red can be, you can do subtle things with cad red. It's quite strong. So we're using a full palette here. Like that. That's dark or whatever. Well, and so I don't really want a big difference between my landscape colors and my clouds, so I'm going to be painting those in now. And the reason that I have like little landforms like this is basically a sky painting. But you got a little landform in it, you've got a painting you could sell. If it's just a painting of a bit of abstract sky, maybe you'll find a buyer for that. I mean, and we want a little different color on the other side, and I think I will. You take advantage of some of, there's that color I mixed. That's nice. You can see the purple in it. I'll bring a little cad red there. Oh, sorry. Cad red. Yeah, we'll be popping some other colors on top of it. Oh, that's nice. Quite a lot of oil in that too, but that's alright. I like that. Now for the bit of hill or mountain or whatever, island or whatever that is there, we're going to use some of this other color. And for those of you at home that would be in the members area of the color mixing session, I decided to drop that from these demos that are going out to the whole public because I think it just drags the video. But if you're like, oh, what are those colors? I want to know. Then you would go to the members area, which is a paltry $6. And you spend more than that on a cup of coffee now. You spend more on a cup of coffee. But that has, on every video there will have color mixing information. Because the assumption really is, for one, that people that are willing to spend a little money to learn about painting are probably people who are going to have the patience to see how the colors are mixed. Well, it's a bit of a phenomenon too. I've noticed like this sky video is 3 hours, but you would think, wow, if you really wanted to learn, who cares? Who cares how long it took? I want to know. I want to know how to do it. But people not only want to know how to do everything, they want to know very quickly. Just make it good. Okay. I'm going to modulate this one. It's very dark, so a little bit of that. That's beautiful. That's nice. Now up here, I really love that value of the dark blue, and I want to try and hit only with the gray. So that's so clever when you can do it. Or actually, that.
I did the purple.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing something similar. Yeah, pretty similar. Pretty similar. Like you don't. What's really clever with skies, you can tell where the sky starts and the clouds stop, and you can actually do that in your landscape. A really neat technique is to like the tops of your trees can merge into the clouds.
Yeah.
Really clever technique. People like some of my favorite painters, like John Francis Murphy, does that all the time, and in S2 to a different degree. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, so that like really gets this idea of like water vapor across because it's a shift in chroma, but not a shift in value.
Right.
That's clever. That's clever. Clever clogs. That's for clever clogs. I like that. Might have to celebrate with a cookie. Okay. No cookies yet. I gotta go further. Yeah. So moving on. Getting some more brownie stuff here. So I have this color I mixed. That's pretty nice. Might be too dark. I want to add some of this brown ochre, which is a little flat. That's okay. Getting to some of this stuff. That's nice.
And the clouds that go closer to the horizon are always lighter. Is that true?
Yeah.
So like lighter,
Oh
lighter.
yeah. Good one. That's good. Good insight there. Yeah. Everything that moves, almost every. Because if you have a real dark cloud close to the horizon, it just looks fake and wrong. I mean, you could see it in nature sometimes. Is there any of these you want to grab before I scrape them all together? Okay. Okay, that's good. I saw some blue. So I just started with the. Actually, I did a poor job, didn't I? I want some real estate. Honest to gosh, real estate. I know I threw that brush away really quick, Ash. Really quick. I mean the towel. I could have done a lot more with that towel.
Oh,
Could have followed your good example. I could have followed your good example. No, look at my trash. I go, wow, there was a lot more life in those towels. On the other hand, sometimes look at that. That's because I'm trying to be cheap, you know.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, sometimes my technique's not good because you get paint on the handbrush.
I don't like to get paint on my hands or my clothes.
The handies.
Okay, so I kind of cleaned up because. Yeah, we're jumping into this brownie color, this brownie grays, but I also really want some spots where it's blue-gray. That's why when I mix that, I'm thinking, I want some of that blue-gray. I didn't mix blue-gray because I knew I'd have leftover blue, and I knew I'd have plenty of gray. If I need to, bring in some of that wax gray. So I'm going to work in some of that, like, see these areas here, Ash, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice maybe to have a. I always like to play the. That's a little too dark. I always like to play the warms off the cools. That's like a big payoff in the clouds. Yeah, and if you can remember to do that, like, oh, I want warms against cools. It's a good move. Good move. Oh, that's nice. That's great. Yeah, I had a nice comment on one of the live videos from Rich, who was like one of my first members ever, and it was that painting there, oh, the one that's behind that one there. He said, oh, I really like the grays, you know, against the browns and all that. It's like, you forget the gray's a color, you know. More blue. Not so much on this side. It's like there's a lot more dark, stormy clouds here. Also, it can be great for these transition areas. Yeah, you alright?
Yeah, I was just about to say this brush is really nice.
You like that brush? I gave you one similar to it.
Yeah.
It's not as worn in, though, the one I gave you.
It just like holds the paint so I can see the
Yeah, no,
strokes.
it's a better brush. Yeah, you can get these from Tekapuna Art.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll get yourself a couple. Yeah. They're not massively outrageous. That brush is like $11, okay?
Yeah.
And it'll last you years if you clean it up properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually kind of into these cheaper brushes for the moment because because they have less bristles in them. They're better for some of this stumfado technique. bits of blue in there. Oh, that's nice. So here, that's kind of brown. Get some of that raw umber in there. Really, so that's why, and this little gap here between these two, very similar, I wanted to have some of that more brownish gray. You can make really nice grays with raw umber too. I don't know if you played with that.
Not yet.
Yeah. So the masters were really into using raw umber for a lot of jobs like that. Like their underpainting, they might do with raw umber and white and black. With when they're going to glaze, you know, they used to glaze their underpaintings. Where in our case, our underpainting was really just more of a drawing. I like that. I'm going to use some more of that. I might add some of this Indian yellow just to get crazy. Woohoo! All right. That's nice. I should send you some videos from Bill Alexander. I'm pretty sure he's one of these speed painters.
Okay.
You know the speed painter that Bob Ross? You know Bob Ross?
Yeah.
So he was Bob Ross's teacher.
Oh.
Bob Ross went farther though, because Bob Ross had the brilliant idea to do things like sell his own art supplies and things.
Yeah.
You know, he has a whole empire based on that. Well, he's passed now. He actually, poor Bob Ross, wonderful guy. I mean, he died too young. But Bill Alexander, people don't know, he invented that technique that Bob Ross uses. And Bill Alexander he's like got a European accent. Yeah, but he says, oh, this is such a happy clown. Happy, we want very happy. It's so much fun to paint, you know? And he's like that, you know? So I'm just a pale echo of that when I'm like saying, oh, I like that. You know, it's nice. Pale echo of old Bill Alexander. I like some of his paintings too. I'm not that big a fan of the speed painting type school, you know, where you use a palette knife to make mountains and things. And, these are kind of like, a lot of these are like thrift store paintings. They end up having a thrift store painting effect. But sometimes nice. And I can tell you one thing I've learned is like, if I'm going to do a pine tree, I'm going to do that Bob Ross pine tree, which is like this. Here you go. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good technique. I don't much like painting pine trees, but...
I just painted one on me too. That's going to be flowing all the way down and I put an edge on it of grey.
You can scrape it.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use your knife. Just don't be mean. You can scrape it. Yeah, use the flat bit of the knife though, not too scratchy. Yeah. There you go. Or paper towel, doesn't matter. But yeah, you fight it a lot less. Okay, so we're progressing here. I want more of these nice browns. Almost into some green. I'm gonna balance that out with a little bit of fake burnt sienna. Fake burnt sienna. You can't cut a break. Can't get a break from me. I know you're fake. You might say burnt sienna in the tube, but you're not fooling me. There's always a lot of simplification obviously needs to go on with the clouds. You're really going to have, if you try to carry every bit of complexity, basically you really want to just be pulling inspiration from your reference. And as I've said lots of times...
Sure, I haven't looked at it once.
Yeah! Well, you're not one of your don't do what Ash does though. Yeah, a little better than that. But no, it doesn't really matter. Actually, yeah, we could give you one sky, and you can make 30 paintings, right?
Yeah.
But I change it up. I change it up all the time. You know, I take some inspiration, but it's just that there's always trying to paint every little nook and cranny in that painting. It's just going to give you really tight. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just kind of grab what you've made.
That's fine. No, go ahead. Help yourself. Just to give you got to have the air. You got to have the life. You got to have the artistic flow and spirit. You know, that's key. And then the references there for inspiration. That's so brilliant because, you know, the masters would have loved to have had that. They would have to make little quick notes, you know, or sit there and remember things. There are some guys like that. Did you ever see that movie, Turner?
What was it about?
The artist, Turner?
Did you send it to me at one point?
No.
Oh, no.
I probably have it though on a stick. I could find it. It's a really beautiful movie, although he's not one of my favorite painters, but I respect him. His work went to quite abstract.
Yeah.
And that's not my. It's just not my kind of. Say he does a lot of see things, but the movie is really beautiful, and the actor is amazing in it. And although some people say that he's coarsifying Turner as a character because there's some coarse things that happen, but you know, people can be coarse and still make beautiful art. Anyway, it's certainly a worthwhile movie. Anyway, at the early part of that movie, it starts off with this really beautiful like sunrise, like one of these times like, oh, you've probably seen this when you've been out surfing. The sky's just yellow. Yeah. And it's so beautiful. It only lasts for 5 minutes, if that. And he's sitting there he's writing little notes, but he's basically trying to pack it into his memory. Which is, you know, now we could pull out our phones and get some sort of photo. Which won't be as impressive as the reality, you know. People see that all the time. It's like, oh, when I took that picture, I thought it was going to look so much better than the photo. Oh, this is good. This is a good color up here. I want a bit of a progression as I go up to, so it's kind of this tanny color right now. As I progress up, I want to go into some more umbers with a little bit of the bluey in there. A little bit of the blue. I don't want it too dark though, so I'm going to lighten that. Somebody was asking on the channel about, I think the blue sky videos. Oh, can you do this with acrylic? I'm like, yeah, you could, but you get some of that stuff to open your drawing time up. You know, that would be my first move. But what I didn't say, because I mean, I don't want to discourage anyone, but if you're listening, dude, why don't you just buy yourself some oil paints because they're better. You know. What'd you say, Ash?
Yeah, I'd say they're easier to learn with as well.
They are. People don't realize, like, oh, oils are hard. No, they're easier than acrylic.
Like, you don't have that drying time pressure.
That's right.
Acrylic, it's an extra stress.
It's a total extra stress. And things just lay there, you know. Also, like, the acrylic's way less flexible from as far as moving one color into the next, you know. Mm-hmm. It's oil paint's like, yeah, I'll get on with that color, no problem. And we get on fine, you know, with acrylics like, no, I'm red. Mm-hmm. I'm staying red. Okay, no, I'm going to go chalky and ugly then. How about that? You know, it fights you. I can make paintings with acrylic, though. I mean, you can make painting with anything. It's not good to be precious. Ooh, you know what would be cool? Up here, we'll start getting some pinks. So I'm going to turn that into some pink with some crimson and white. Boom. Oh, not you. I'm showing Ash, but you guys are the what's he doing? What? What are you doing, man?
Oh, we can't see your palette.
I know. You're doing it wrong. Doing it wrong, Mike. Look at some of that.
So how would you? I'm thinking like, what direction of the clouds are we putting the lights in the like? Because it's kind of behind all the clouds.
Ooh, wow.
So are they like wrapping
Well, I
around
don't
the
worry
edge?
about any of that.
Oh, okay.
I don't worry what's in front. I don't worry what's
Are you
behind.
looking at the reference? You're like, light goes there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I basically holding off on the lightest spots.
Yeah.
Are they in front or the behind? I don't worry about any of that.
Okay. Reference looking is actually going to be easier.
Yeah, I worry about just putting paint in spots and then.
Yeah.
Because well, like I was kind of saying with the clouds earlier, it's like you could have dark over light or light over dark. I mean, who really knows what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
The important thing, like from your standpoint as a painter, is to have good edges, right? If you don't have good soft edges, it won't look like a cloud.
Yeah.
As far as the brights, you can get away with a lot as far as what's in front, what's behind. People will have their own guesses about that. Yeah, I tend not to think like that too much, actually. Yeah, I just tend to, like, to me, I tend to think a bit too dimensionally. You know, I have in my mind, like you remember that chapter in my book where I broke everything into like a puzzle.
Haven't done that yet.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
Yeah.
No. Have I?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know it's early on. You said you were up to page 58 or something.
Yeah, I'm on 62.
Oh yeah, you're almost done. You're catching up.
I was slowing down so that you wouldn't feel pressured.
I can only do about 4 to 8 pages a week anyway.
Yeah.
My brain goes. I mean, I could do more if I stopped painting altogether. But who wants to do that, right? I want to keep painting. Where is that? Why aren't you showing up for this? Oh, no, I don't want that. Name. Ah, here we go. Maybe you're right. No. Meanwhile, I wasted everybody's time. It's all right, you guys. Just relax. Just relax. Get yourself a cup of tea. Well, I know it's in there. I'm not seeing it though. I broke a painting into these shapes. Painting broke into shapes. I did it was pretty clever how I did it too, I think, if I don't say so myself. No, see it now though. But no, it's there. You've seen it already. In fact, you pointed out that other book I gave you. That
Yeah,
he did
that's
the
what
same,
I remember seeing.
Yeah, he did the same thing. But yeah, I done that. That's a good way to think of things. And I don't know if they had these when you were a kid, but like the paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, paint by numbers is a great way to think of things. So I kind of do that. That's what, in my case, so I leave the board peeking out through.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little trick down here. Because we got that orange and we got a little bit of that Indian yellow on the palette. And Indian yellow, when it hits the gray, it gets an effect just like in the photo reference. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You kids at home. So here's some of that. Here's a grayish color. Check this out. Indian yellow. Boom. I need more Indian yellow. Boom. Indian yellow doesn't have much opacity to it. But look at that color. It's like very like mysterious. It's gonna look like a great way to like kind of work into the orange portion. Yeah, so you remember that cloud shape you had I didn't like, you know? This one.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this, like a big triangle kind of. Remember, so like one of the things I do it just made me realize I do this all the time. It's like, how did I break it up? I went, you know, and I go, oh, okay. I just need to break you up.
Yeah.
So let's just start with randomly, like just breaking something up, you know, and then getting a little lost so you can get found, you know. Because there will be times like, you know there's a problem, you don't really know how to fix it. Oh, it's time to put in some colors on the water down here. Doesn't have to be anything major, critical. I like that. So we've already introduced a bit of that orange into our brush via the Indian yellow. I'm going to bring this in. Oh, I still think that color's nice. That's going to be good. Right in here, we start getting into some of our oranges. I said yellow, I meant orange. That's nice. We'll put a few lighter glints in as well. Maybe a little more actual cat orange there. As it comes over, it gets more chroma. So I want it smoky on the outside, less chroma, more chroma as we pull in. It's also going to go lighter, so double payoff, more color, more value, more light value. I'm gonna get this a little better in here. And just some of the gray on my palette. Darker. Just grab some more of that same gray. So I might start just with a straight line, but I know as I'm painting it, it will take on other sorts of. I keep modulating and working on this because I painted in so dark. That's nice. Okay, let's do some more orange. So I'm wiping off my brush, getting some oil. Getting back into the orange. If it's like gonna go a little flat again because of the gray in my brush, I get some more orange, and that actually looks like it wants some more help. I'll put in some of the Indian yellow too, just to see what happens. Not much, but the Indian yellow is like definitely like chroma for days. Chroma for days. Let's bring in some cad red. It's a real neat color, which you guys can see in the reference. You can see that really neat color. I have maybe 2 or 3 ways to get it. I have the cad yellow. I have the Indian yellow in my palette, which isn't usually there. And the red. I could even, there's quite a lot of chroma in the fake burnt sienna too, but it's also going to be more smoky. Worked very hard to get not very far. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. Just a little redder. And then here we're going to pay a little attention to the edges of these distant hills. Kind of bring in, just do some little bites with the brush. I think I'm just bringing the same color on the other side. So I don't like that green color that's there, it's weird. Might plop a few things on top of it later too. And no time like the present to kind of. So in the water, your colors won't tend to be as bright as in the sky. Well, so they won't be as chromatic, and they also will be darker, slightly darker in value. And I feel like you guys can see the reference there. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense, really. So I wonder even if it could have been from a whole other. Maybe it does kind of, I don't know, whatever. But it's good, it's illustrative because the water doesn't always need to tie as much, especially like this looks like a bit like an ocean scene, so you'll see less like reflection of mountains in the water and things like that because there's so much activity on the water. Just hitting it with some of this. There's not much orange here in the reference, but doesn't mean we can't throw in a few bits. So good like rules, like if you have color in one spot, it's good to have it in other spots in the painting somewhat too. You know, generally be modulated, but right, okay. Let's skip up the rest of that, and we're going to skip that up. And here we're going to use that right off to the side. A little while to get some movement. As it comes over the, well, mostly I want it very bright here, so I'm not going to try and modulate over the top of that little mountain. Back when I had this job, I was about 18. And I was in art, and it was like a framing place, but every now and again you'd have me draw or do designs for things. Because the owner knew I had, you know, talent and ability, so he would like sell projects where we could do things. And the supervisor at the time, his name was Sonny. And Sonny was like, he was this Mexican guy, well, second generation, so not from Mexico, but Mexican. And I showed Sonny something I did. He's like, that looks medieval. It's stuck with me for years. It's like, am I painting medieval clouds? Do they look medieval? Okay, it's time to break into some white now. And when we bring in the white, we always bring in some other color. Usually it's going to be its buddy yellow. They hang out together because the white's killing the chroma, but it's making things lighter. So it's almost never I'll just bring in white all by itself. And I'm going to start with this area. I won't try and do that whole transition by just pushing the white in. I'm going to grab some orange in a sec, but actually even a little bit of the pure orange into that now. I thought I said I was going to try to modulate over the top of the mountain, but here I go. I'm going to go brighter still, but I'm going to go brighter by setting brighter things on top. Yeah, no, like that. You get water, a lot of times it reads as water, lots of horizontal strokes. Break it up a little, don't work too hard on it. What'll happen is if you work too hard on it, it'll just get all ugly and medieval looking. Bringing medieval back to the lexicon. Okay, so how you doing there, Ash? Want any help or anything? You alright?
I'm just kind of winging it.
Huh?
Just winging it.
One thing I might suggest
This is a scary area.
well, you're using a pretty white brush. I would get, before you get like all worky outy, cover everything.
Okay.
You know, and then come in, you can plop some things on top. Things will solve
okay.
themselves, yeah. Because you're taking the paint by numbers approach.
Yeah.
A little too far, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's not.
Can
It's
still
okay.
chuck stuff on top.
Yeah,
Blame
yeah,
it
yeah.
on
It's
that.
looking fine. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm saying maybe I work in your modulation into a warmer gray, and then into the. Are you going to do the orange or no?
Yeah, I'm doing the sky after the clouds, get the scary stuff out of the way, and then hit
Okay.
the gun. Yeah.
All right. You're on your path. You're on your path. Ooh, look at that. That's nice. That's nice. I want some more white there, so I'm not gonna get too crazy with this. In fact, I'm gonna stop myself right there. Just get some more white. Yeah, because so how do you get blue to get on with orange? Ash? How would you?
Yellow.
That's just gonna make the orange more yellow orange or the blue into green.
Um,
Close though, not too far off.
Bleached titanium.
No, you're very close, but you might not have bleach. Most people didn't have bleached titanium. They had just plain titanium white. So the answer
Okay.
I could technically give you to
What
you.
about
No, you had it right with titanium, but
Oh.
not bleached titanium.
Okay.
White.
Yeah.
So the way that you're going to get the yellow and the blue to get on
Oh, in the sky.
would be with white.
Okay,
I
yeah.
learned that from my first painting teacher. His name was Smitty.
Smitty.
Smitty, yeah. Oh, he's so wonderful. He took me to his corporate painting classes and gave me free canvases and free lessons and free paint. And
Cool.
it was really awesome. He was a wonderful guy. So that was my question. How do I do that? And you can see I'm doing it now with the white.
Mhm.
The white is how white would be how these two colors could get on, and you can have a transition. And a little bit of yellow too, you know. But what the yellow is going to have, you know, yellow into blue is going to give you green. But that's, you were sort of also right when you say yellow ochre, because we know the yellow ochre works well in the skies. painted that blue in before, I knew I would be doing something like this over the top. And it's a progress too. You don't necessarily try and pull off everything at one time. Yeah, I'm probably better with the regular old pure titanium than the buff. Although that was kind of a buffish color that I've used so far, but as I want a cleaner result, I'm going to go into just the plain titanium. Yeah, I like that. Look at it, Chris. Huh?
It's gonna look cool.
It's looking good, yeah. So we kind of got a little bit here and there. So what I'm going to do now is mix myself some real light blue off on the side here. So I can kind of work on the other side of the transition coming in. And there's a little yellow in my brush, which is fine. That'll work. This kind of thing is in the reference. That's how I basically would paint it. Patience, you know. Sometimes that's the main thing. Be patient. And like a lot of modern painters mess up there because somehow they got the idea that everything should happen really quick and instantaneous. A lot of that comes from people that do like abstract art and things, or I don't even know where all that goes. Whatever. It's the same idea. Like you don't need to work at your craft, you know, to be good. You're just either good or not. You know, that's a popular modern idea. It's a very wrong idea. I've had to work very hard to just get, you know, somewhat adequate. That's risky. It's a risky move. It's risky.
The green?
Yeah, I just decided I could have taken that yellow all the way down to the proper yellow, but I've got like this bit of blue in there. Whatever. We'll get it. Patience and then don't give up. That's the two things, right? And then if it does suck, you know, paint over it. That's it. That's all of it. Then do another 1,000. Well, so in that catalog Resonate, there's like 2,000 paintings in there. 50 years.
Cool.
You'd think more. I think I've done 1,000 something. I worked very small though. So that's nice. Well, you would think, wow, only 2,000 paintings in 50 years. There was I forget his name, I'm so bad with names, but there's like this English artist who does like these little, it was in the 60s, it is like kind of abstracty figures, and his work was quite popular. And then they had this show, maybe it was on Netflix or something like that, it was like, you know, art mysteries or art whatever. You ever seen any of those?
No.
Well, this was interesting because they had like, these people had like 3 paintings, and they thought all 3 were by this artist, but you know, they had to authenticate it. And so a couple were pretty easy to authenticate. One, they were able to authenticate it because there was like a little video done at the guy's studio.
Yeah.
And one of the paintings was sitting on one of his easels.
Cool.
Yeah, so I got thinking about the picture of your wall I took in your own studio. You never know.
True.
Could be used to authenticate you know,
Maybe.
an ash, or what do you say your name? I said A, Just
A.
Ellis, right?
Oh yeah, I've changed it on this one to A.E.
Okay. You're just messing with that. Yeah. So any of the art historians trying to work on your stuff will be, oh, she's such a pain in the arse. You know? Oh, why can't you just sign it? Date it. Come on, when did you do this one? I think she did it. I think she did it 22. No, it looks quite like her work from 26. No.
Hope not.
No, she was painting everything with 2 eyes back then. Alright, here I'm kind of going with a neutral. These are light colored clouds. This isn't really tonalism, by the way. I would call it tonalism, but tonalism usually doesn't have like these intensity of color. Like this blue against the orange, it's not really a tonal thing.
Right.
I don't care. I call it tonalism because people like to have something that they can call things.
Yeah.
So, no one's really called me out on it yet. So I thought the term like people calling things sick kind of went out of popularity. Is it making a resurgence?
I don't know.
I noticed on, like, we're watching a new Master Chef. They're referring to things as sick.
Oh.
That's sick. I thought that fell out of favor because that was kind of a thing when I first came out here. And they probably would call things sick in the US now. But they wouldn't call anything mean. That's mean. They wouldn't do that in the US. They wouldn't call anything mean. I don't think so. Although I haven't been there for a while. Maybe they started. Okay, so, like laying in my whites. There's a lot of times just brush pressure too, you know, you can just kind of fudge things. Be sensitive, be delicate. Like that. So I'm thinking for up here, like I kind of started to get into some pink. I didn't mix any pink, but I'm thinking pink up there. I kind of see some pink in the reference. So, and the best groovy way to make pink is with the alizarin crimson. It's like, so it's made for it. Like really nice pinks from old alizarin. It earns its keep. It's a little brighter than maybe I want to be. You know, so grab just some of those grays or whatever that were. And now that's kind of flattened out. But let's see how it looks. Get a little oil. It's quite bright. Well, let's use that for this bit. Crimson. This is a scrubby move I've been trying to teach Ash. One day it might be
I don't know why I can't do it.
No, one day in 10 years, you go, oh, man, I could have been scrubbing this whole time. No, it's you know, I didn't know it was scrub, but now I do. And I think a lot of it too, it might just be this little cheaper brush. You know, because it's so what's making this brush cheaper is less bristles, I think, right? That's why when it comes to that edge, you've got a lot more, you know, of this
Sparseness.
yeah, sparsiosity.
I made up a word in my book, rigor mortified.
Oh, nice. That is a nice
I
word.
googled it, it's not a word though.
No, but now it is.
But it is, yeah.
That sounds very pleasant.
Yeah, it's a chapter on fear.
Rigor mortified.
It just came into my head.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Alright, some more pinks. Grab some of that gray from back early on in the painting, which seems like a long time ago now. Because I don't want to just paint all this with one. Ooh, that's nice. That pink is nice. You can always plop something lighter on top of it too. So a little, you know, there's a certain pace that I'll work through the painting, but there's time, which is a good clip. But intuitively, like I have a feel, I will always slow down for certain edges, you know. And that sensitivity thing, it's just a matter of being like, I'm going to be sensitive right now. I'm going to be, you know. There's not that many words to describe it, but you know, I'm going to be precious about this. You know, I'm going to be. This is special. Yeah, you might want to watch me do these edges for a sec here, Ash, because this could help you. Oh, I know it's scrubby. Well, actually, even more with that darker color. So just kind of working with less pressure.
Yeah.
You know, just getting these colors to kind of get on together. So they're still holding on to some shape, but you're getting that airy, cloudy edge. The technique I really only use in clouds. It's lighter than I want to go. Actually, I want to go more yellow there, I think, anyway. Yellow. That's nice. Especially when you go in real light over real dark, which I kind of try to avoid a lot of times, but that's when I'll really slow down and use those brush hairs to kind of grab bits here, you know. It's kind of like this. I try to do this kind of thing with the, you know, with the hairs of the brush. I bet I could sell this painting. I bet I could put this painting in Russell. You been to Russell?
Yep.
Like a long time ago, huh?
No, start of the year. I just want to
I don't get Russell. Is there an op shop there?
Yeah.
I wish I'd seen that. I think maybe
It's
it wasn't
not
open the day I was there, but
Mm.
yeah, that would have been. I like op shops. Oh, we got an excellent toaster the other day. Because our toaster stopped popping up.
Okay.
And the wife, I was like, oh, go to the op shop, get a toaster, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, she saw the price just for a really cheap one at the warehouse. It was like 40 something bucks. We got like this really awesome, like 4-slice professional grade toaster for $14.
Cool.
It is cool. It's a great feeling, eh? Getting a deal.
Okay, maybe I'm gonna title this one "Rocks in the Sky."
Because your edges are hard.
Look at that.
Well, it's actually really cool looking. I mean, you're home in your row, right?
Hole in your row.
Hoe, you know a hoe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how you make it like a trough that you're gonna put
Yeah,
seeds
yeah,
in.
yeah. I used to be a gardener.
Did you?
Yeah.
But no more.
No.
Did I tell you about I want to make my own hot sauce? I want to make my own Tabasco.
Cool.
They have a type of chili called a Tabasco chili. And you know what it is? It's just like a mash.
Yeah.
And you ferment it.
Okay.
So it's chilies, water, and vinegar. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could make my own. I love hot sauce, by the way. I don't know if you knew that about me, but yeah. Speaking of Mexicans, I used to work with. That's what they would put hot sauce in everything, and they got me into hot sauce. Put hot sauce on a lot of things. All right, so there's this bright bit up here. You know, I'm scared of it. I probably won't do it. Because you run a risk with that kind of thing. Like, just the edges of these clouds are hard enough. But when you have like a real bright spot, like that works in the photo, but in the painting, I don't know. Probably not. Stop it, Jerry. Yeah. Okay. So this cloud's too dark here, which I knew it was. I'm just going to start bringing in some lighter bits over the top. Rocks in the sky. Hey, you know what I call that Stormy painting? I call it Storms. Storms Would Play.
Yeah.
Is my title. Is that a good title or what? Storms Would Play. You wouldn't know the reference to that, which was a song by Neil Diamond. You know who Neil Diamond is?
Yep.
Awesome.
My dad does.
Yeah, okay. There you go. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
He has a song that goes, Stones would play inside her head. Right?
Okay.
So that was a play on that. Storms would play.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Neil Diamond. Yeah, no, if you knew Neil Diamond without having a dad my age, I'd be very surprised. But
still alive?
Yeah, the poor guy got the Alzheimer's, you
Oh.
know, which is sad because he loves to perform, you know, and he was, I mean, he's interesting because he wrote like 40 or 50 really excellent songs. That's a lot. But then he had like this big period where, well, and his stuff can get real schmaltzy, you know.
Okay.
And then he just sucked for a long time. But then he kind of like, so a lot of people, you ever heard of Rick Rubin?
Nope.
Producer, okay, produced a lot of rap artists. Was one of the guys that owned like the big rap label.
Cool.
And but he would revive a lot of people's career, like so Johnny Cash. You heard of Johnny Cash?
Yeah.
Okay, because your dad again.
I think it was a meme or something.
Huh?
From a meme.
Oh yeah, the movie that would add Joaquin Phoenix in it. Pretty good. Anyway, Johnny Cash was a guy back in the day. Johnny Cash old, dead now.
Mm.
Johnny Cash, country guy, kind of too, you know. Just started doing all this schmaltzy stuff no one cared about. But he had, when in the 50s, when he first started, he was pretty edgy. He was doing some pretty cool stuff, you know.
Okay.
And so Rick Rubin, you know, like Johnny Cash is like 70 something years old, you know, and he works with Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin starts bringing him songs like by people like Soundgarden, you know.
Okay.
You know Soundgarden?
No.
Oh my God. Well, Soundgarden would have been a 90s band. Black Hole Sun, you know that one? No, you don't.
No.
Yeah, you rock it because Rock died. Rock died. That's okay. Anyway, you know, way generations after Johnny Cash, you know, and Johnny Cash had these big resurgence. Oh, about 9 Inch Nails? No, okay, all right, that's fine, that's good. Anyway, 9 Inch Nails, that would have been the grunge era, you know,
Okay.
90s, early 90s was their heyday. But Johnny Cash was this old guy doing these like more hip type songs.
Yeah.
And had a bunch of hits, right? You know, big resurgence for him in his career. And then, you know, right before he died too, which is pretty cool. Kind of go out with a bang.
Mm.
So Rick Rubin did that for Neil Diamond. And Neil Diamond's struggling, you know, he's struggling coming in with the songs. And Rick's going, because Rick is, you know, going to be honest, even though this is Neil Diamond. He's like, yeah, man, these songs, they're not very good, dude. You know?
Mm.
He says, get back to work writing. You're Neil Diamond. You're Neil Diamond. Yeah, I'm Neil Diamond. And he did some good songs.
Yeah.
It was his last gasp of goodness. Very interesting. The kind of thing interests me. Like people, because a lot of times people lose it. You know why they lose it? It's because they're harnessed up to commerce, right? They have to put out a new record every year. You know, they have to do this, they have to do that, and after a while, they may lose the that spark, that special spark of creativity, which, you know, is what makes art great. One guy that had that and got it back was David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, David Bowie was doing this really terrible stuff in the late '80s. It was just awful, and you know,
it's kind of gross.
Huh.
That I heard,
everything after Blue Jean, basically, you know, in the '80s. Well, there's a couple bright spots, but kind of sold out, but he got it back. Go ahead, whatever you're looking for.
Trying to get into the white middle.
Good. He got it back. He's like one of the rare cases of somebody that actually managed to get it back, get his artistic soul back. Which is, you know, pretty awesome. Okay, I don't even know what color I want to do in the water. I'm almost done, Ash.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't tell you to keep up this time, because I didn't want to spark your competitive. I don't want.
Oh no, I've been very aware.
I don't want to spark competitive Ash. I don't want her to rear her head. Because Uncle Mike's not competitive at all. I'm not a competitive. I'm not that kind of guy. If I was, I couldn't spend, you know. weeks doing studies after a nest that make me feel, what's the word? Inadequate. But hey, he's a genius, so it's all good. But yeah, no, I'm not competitive. I'm not competitive at all. So I'm deviating pretty extensively from the reference here, but water's a place you can do that. Especially this water. This is like the ocean or something, so I'm not even making an effort to reflect these hills in the water. I barely see any of that in the reference. Kinda. I don't care. I care about some things, but I don't care about that. I don't care about that. That does not concern me. I'm gonna get a little more chroma here in the water. Maybe a little more orange. Yeah, a lot of people thought rock would never die. It's pretty much dead. You know what it was though when I was younger? You had all the big band people, right? You know, big band. You ever hear of Louis Armstrong?
Nope.
Well, he would have been the one guy you would have heard of.
Okay.
He's you would have heard his song, Master to Master, what a wonderful world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard that one.
Just because it's been on telly.
Yeah, because that's the one that survived from that whole era.
Yeah.
It's all been condensed down to that, and basically just a few guys. But there would have been hundreds of guys.
I mean, there's bands like Pink Floyd, which are still pretty big.
Pink Floyd, yeah.
I mean, like, my generation still listens to them.
Yeah. Well, they made an extra special pact with the devil.
They were just on a bunch of psychedelics.
No, I agree with you. And actually, Pink Floyd's music is exceptionally good, and kind of, it has that component where, so, what was the thing when I was a kid? Was they would build these big old tents and they had these laser light shows. Okay, you ever seen a laser light show?
Yeah.
So that was a brand new thing in the 70s, and there would be all these pillows, and everyone would just be laying back, just going, wow, it'd be Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
You definitely would feel high, even on nothing, That's looking pretty cool. You're all right.
It's all right.
Well, you may want to lighten your edge of the cloud a bit when it's hitting that. You could edge it with something other than the dark gray, because it would have to be reacting to that intense light in some way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hold on to its darkness like that, even if it was a rock.
It's a forming black hole.
Oh, thank you for that. You get the human in there.
You reckon I should still do that?
Why not? Well, I think it's a killer idea. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I'm playing it straight. I'll play it straight. I'm just doing my landscape painting.
Is that black?
No, that's that leftover color from your drawing. That's black.
Oh, cool.
That's a bit that was on your palette. Queen. You know who Queen is?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why what? Why I know them?
Yeah.
'Cause my dad.
Okay. What about that movie? Did you see the movie or hear about the movie?
No, I didn't watch it.
Well, I think another reason why a lot of young people know who Queen is.
Is it Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first of all, that's been in like 4 or 5 movies over the last 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Keeps coming back. There's that. But also, like, you know, there's some bands. How about Jimi Hendrix? You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Okay. What's pretty special? Your dad must be a fan. Does your dad play guitar or something?
No.
Okay.
He's
And
a mechanic who listens to music while
he
he
likes
listens to
rock.
cars.
He likes rock. Yeah, my dad did too, and I do too. But so, like, if you want to put some Jimi Hendrix music on YouTube, they shut you down.
Right.
And there's a lot of bands like that, but Queen is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Queen has like videos that have like, you know, 250 million views or whatever, because people can just check out their stuff, and so they're not going to disappear and go away.
Yeah.
And there's this guy who actually teaches a bit of music theory that I follow, and he's like, people should wise up. You know, these older musicians, like, you're being all like, oh no, that's my music, copyright. You know, where you should basically, young people aren't going to know about it. They're not going to care about it.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
What about bringing in some horizontal streaks? Yellow, white, or something like that? Or
Okay.
just saying that white kind of almost takes on the presence of its own,
Yeah, it
like
looks
it's a
kind
cloud.
of awful. Yeah.
It's not so bad. I mean, actually, you're really close. You're really close. Just like if you looked here when I did the side massages several times back and forth.
Oh, true. You haven't got a circular point, eh? It's
No,
more
no
like a
point.
strip.
No, yeah, strip.
Ah, see, I
Yeah,
put
I did a lot
white
of that. That's what I did to get the blending.
True.
Yeah. Just a tip. And like in a spot like this down here, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, where we have these dark clouds, but there's nothing to stop you from just putting in a streak of a lighter color as well. You know, there's no real rules with that kind of thing. I mean, skies do all kinds of incredible stuff at the end of the day. That might be nice, actually, because that's a little boring there. Is that nice?
A kid.
Oh, there goes Jerry. What's going on? I know he says somebody to, and he'll whine and scratch.
He looks a bit concerned.
He wants attention. Hey, no, he's not growling because he's concerned. That is to come over here. Hey. None of that. All right. Well, I'm done. Ash is still working.
No, I'm probably going to paint over this painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not happy?
No.
Okay, we're going to zoom in. All good. Hopefully. Oh, let's zoom way in. Well, hopefully you learned something, Ash. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that's the whole point.